Hello, stitching friends. I'm Bonnie, Log Cabin Stitcher. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my sewing room. Every time I do one of these, I'm trying something a little bit different because this has been such a new, whole new thing for me, doing these FlossTube videos and then doing the companion quilting videos. I am truly, truly amazed at the welcome that I have had into this existing, amazing, and overwhelmingly encouraging FlossTube world. So thank you so much for my subscribers. Thank you for my viewers. Thank you for the incredible comments that I have been reading. I have to really be prepared now because I am a teary, emotional person. And I have to really be prepared now when I read your comments because they are so beautiful. And because I think a lot of you ladies have connected with me because I'm a very transparent person, probably to my detriment sometimes, but those are just the people that I connect with. That's what I like to know about other people. I like to know the emotions behind things. I like to know the stories behind things, and that's what I am bringing to you. So obviously I'm connecting with those ladies that have a lot of the same feelings, even if maybe my style is a little bit different, but oh, there are a lot of us out here with this kind of a style. So again, I just want to thank you so much. I have already had from Roadie, I'm writing everything down because I am incredibly tired. So this is like a disclaimer. My job, it has a very up and down schedule, which is just what I have. But this week was very, very long and exhausting, but great too. It was really good. So I am tired, and when I get tired, I get teary, and I've got a lot going on this weekend and next week on a lot of projects that I need to do. So I'm really going to try to stay focused. This is my thing, focus, because I'm very ADD. And I have so much that I want to share. So actually, I put aside a lot of the things that I wanted to share in this video. It will just be for another time. Generally, I like to do, in all the 3 videos that I've done before, I have done a FlossTube, like number 1, and a quilting number 1, where I share more about the quilt that's behind me. I can already tell with, as much as I feel like I'm trying to rush through this to get on to the other things that I need to do and things that I have left off, it's going to be better for next week. Instead of the weekend that I have been uploading a dual video, this will be my FlossTube number 4. And then next week, I will upload my quilting number 4. So that's just the way I'm going to do this because I don't want to run through it, do it too quickly. I want to really share about the stories because that's what ladies have been enjoying. So I have been watching less FlossTube, and I have had almost no stitching time this week because of my schedule that I have had. I've just been so tired when I've come home from work late that a lot of times I would just watch a FlossTube. So I was so thrilled to know that a couple of you ladies have come over after you saw, I believe it's Anna. I'm not good at names, which is funny. Me as a notary, I'm really bad at names. From Stitch Roadie. So Stitch Roadie, Anna, sent some of her followers over to me very generously. Thank you so much. I've been enjoying getting to know different people. So this week, in the limited time that I have had to watch, I've really been enjoying getting to know Christy at Crosshatch Quilts and the similarities. I love the similarities with her and her camping. We used to have a trailer that I would stitch and we would travel. That was during the time that we were not able to use our cabin. So then life changed and we passed on our trailer to somebody else, and now we have the cabin that's keeping us very busy and the house that's keeping us busy as well. Who else have? Olivia at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. And so these are 2 ladies that do stitching and have been very experienced and prolific stitchers as far as cross stitch, but also do quilting. So I've been connecting with them on that. I have been watching Jenny at Long Dog Stitcher, And she says it's so cool because she has a beautiful accent. I believe she's from Alabama. And I got so inspired watching her videos because she would show a bit of her garden. And of course, I know it was before this frying time. It has been an incredibly hot end of a summer. Horrible fires going on. We are still affected up towards our cabin area with a fire that is going on. But that's how things have been going right now, and we're just going to keep moving forward. But I have been watching Jenny's garden, got me so inspired as it's cooled down a little bit. It's now below the hundreds. So I'll go out, and my garden is crispy. We had up to about 117 here in the Inland Empire of California, so things were not happy, and it was hard to keep up with the watering. So I am basically giving it my usual fall. We're getting into fall if we're not there already. Giving my garden the fall trim. That way it can get restored and come back fresh. And because we're in California, we have milder winters, and so often I have a beautiful garden because I've transitioned away from the English type of gardening that I loved for decades, and now I'm going more into the native gardening because now I have so many other hobbies, and my kids aren't playing outside anymore because they're gone. So now I'm inside stitching or going outside on my back patio on our couch and stitching. So I have just been so inspired by several ladies that I've been watching their gardens. Who else have I been watching? Lisa on Kindred Stitcher. And so now I have gotten addicted to project bags, and last week I shared on my FlossTube 3 some of my project bags, and now I want to try something a little bit different, and I'd like to make gussets in the bottom so I can store bigger things. So I watched one of Lisa's, and I'll put the link down below in my about section. Then I watched a new friend, Barb on Lost in Floss, and I'll show you the pattern that I bought because of watching her. I want to share, and I'm going to keep track on time, but I have been asked, and I wanted to share about my floss organization. So I will do that in a few minutes because I'm going to try to go through my stack and try to stay on track to share what I want to share. So stay tuned for that floss organization because it is different than a lot of the ladies have, but it's farther over than what I'm going to share on right now. And I know I'm a little bit distracted now. I have stuff laid out all around me, and I'm trying not to trip because this time I really need to be on the move because I'm showing you different ways of organization and different projects that are in the works. So let me share with you a little bit about my haul. I'm going to put my glasses on, and I'm going to hope that it doesn't get a big reflection. No, it's looking okay. I've got bad lighting in here. I will be transitioning over to some new things, but if I try to do perfection, it's not going to happen because there is no perfection anyway. So this is just as if I had you ladies as friends here in my sewing room, and we don't worry about the mess. We just share and connect and love on each other. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so my Etsy order came in from NeedleCaseGoodies, and I'm going to show you a couple of the things that I got. I got two patterns. This one is a Plum Street sampler pattern, and it looks like there is a series. I don't know if this is a new or an old series because, again, I'm just getting back into cross stitching after 20 years. So a whole new world is opening up for me and arriving in my mailbox. Okay, so this is Mary 1, and it's darling. I love the more primitive style, and so this one just grabbed me. I love that. And then this is what Barb on Lost in Floss. I saw her. She has a Sal that she's a part of, and I don't know how old it is, but I did look on Instagram and I did look at some of the pictures. So the Sal is after the hashtag after the roses, SAL. But I saw this and I really was intrigued by it. I love the older look, so I think I am going to get this. It's like a 32 count doubloon. Picture this plus fabric. I'm a quilter, so we call it fabric linen. But I think I'm going to do this project in that as well. And on the Instagram, I saw that the called for DMC colors even looked darker and richer than what is showing up on here. So that's going to be fun. Don't know when I'm going to start that because, again, I don't even know when I'm going to get to the stitching that I've got going right now. The other item that I got was a piece of linen. So I am not at all a patient person, and during this whole 2020, there are a lot of changes going on And I really have a hard time being patient with not getting what I want when I want it. So I'm working on my patience. But instead of trying to get, and again, I want the called for linen in the patterns that I get, and it's just not happening, or it's not happening fast. So I went on Etsy this week, and I have some more. So Hollis Hands Create, I just ordered a ton of linen, for me a ton, just because I want to have some linen right here on hand for me when I want to do a project. But I thought, instead of the regular, very popular linens, I'm going to try some other ones because those are available and they look beautiful. So this is a new one. I love that tag. So this is a 30 count old Salem linen. I'm not even sure what color this is, so I will put that in the description before. But it's a good size piece. It smells like coffee, which makes me happy. And I know I will find good use for that. So it's something that I have. Actually, I am hoping that it's going to work on, I hope it's a big enough piece. I haven't even had time to see, but I have this summer, autumn, winter set that I'm going to do the whole sampler. And even though this calls for a 30, I'm not able to find that called for linen in stock. I may just use this one, but I've got to make sure that piece is big enough because I don't want to run out. I have also been seeing ladies on Instagram, and also Shanda was talking about old wooden embroidery hoops. I love old things. I love wood because I was a woodworker for 20 years, and you can see behind me I've got wood in here. I saw a hoop, a Duchess hoop on Etsy. Didn't even know what size it was. It didn't say. I didn't really look closely at the picture. I just ordered it because that's just me. I just jump in and do something. It arrived, and actually I just left it on the kitchen table because I thought, oh crud. It was cracked, it was warped, and I just thought, well, that was a stupid buy. It was only like $13, so I just left it there. And then I came back to it a couple days later when I got over my frustration just at myself. It wasn't the Etsy. It was not where I purchased it, because when I looked at the picture, it showed that it was cracked. I picked it up and I took off the wrapping that was over this crack. And I thought, took off the wrapping and it fit a little better. My husband is always a fixer for me, and he is amazing with wood glue. So he is going to be helping me. He doesn't know it yet, but he's always a wonderful helper. This is a Duchess. It just makes me want to cry just thinking about, because I'm tired too. I'm a tired woman right now. But this hoop just gives me joy now that I've gotten over the fact that it was broken. I know that I will be wrapping some twill tape around it, and I know my husband can do a great fix on this with some wood glue. So now I'm enjoying it and I like it. So my Duchess hoop, I think it's a 6-inch, and it's funny because in the order came this. This was just in the package. It's a little bit wonky. Just the inner part, it looks like for another hoop. So don't know what I'll do with it. Maybe I'll do it as a finish or something. But that was also part of my haul. Okay, so the other thing that I did is I went to my local needlework shop, Needles and Niceties. And I unfortunately didn't check what the hours were, and they close earlier right now, probably because of everything happening this year. So I got in there 2 minutes before they closed. So I just grabbed stuff really quick, and I made 3 purchases, but I was really happy with them because they were some of the ones that I was looking for. This one I just got because I loved the picture, or I loved the color. This is 35 count putty by weeks. So now I'm doing this new thing. I'm trying to keep track. I've seen that it's not really good to store these in plastic bags because it can change some of the color on some of the linen. So I thought, best practice, I just will find a new way to do it. I'm labeling now. I just got this scrapbook paper, cut it out. I'm doing it real simple, labeling it, and also because I have now commenters asking where I got certain things. So now when I get a pattern, I'm trying to write down where I got it from. And now I'm knowing this is Needles and Niceties. That's where I got it. So if I need to go get more or refer someone to it, that's what we got. Okay, so then I was able to get 40 count straw by weeks. The other fun thing is I realized it is the exact color of this Peaceful Ways that I shared in my last FlossTube. So that is going to be wonderful. And I am going to get these called for colors because I want it exactly like this. Then it is also the same for this other la-di-da that I shared about in my FlossTube 3 as well, and why this saying is so special. And that's where when I saw either someone shared it or somehow I saw that it really was darker than this picture is showing, and that's why, because you can see the called for is 40 count straw. So again, I am going to get the called for colors on that because that's just the way I'm rolling right now. When I do quilting, I generally change up everything, and that's what I'm going to show you when I do next week's quilting number 4 video. I'm going to share about this pattern and how I changed it a lot, and that's generally what I do. But right now in cross stitching, I'm getting my feet wet again, and I'm buying patterns based on the complete thing that I see that I like and that I will copy. Then I'm going to veer off. This was a mistake. So that's the end of my haul that I'm going to share with you. I do have 2 orders coming in, so I'm excited about that. But this is my Nancy Halverson project bag, and this is a project that I started, and I wish I had followed Wendy's called for colors in Camelot's Rose. On her Etsy site, it shows it is, and I like dark. I like primitive. Everything in my sewing room is dark and primitive because those are the colors that I enjoy. So the one on her Etsy site, if you go to From the Heart on Etsy, it is darker than this, and so that's what I wanted to portray. But as I was new, I just thought, well, I don't have a lot of linen, so I am just going to start on what I have. So I started, it's an R&R, so I was actually able to get some R&R when I went to Needles and Niceties, and I'm pulling out the tag, and this was Cordy's Special Blend. This was all the piece that was there. And I loved how the colors, I did my own, I think they're all Gentle Arts, but my own called for colors. And when I started it, I was in such a hurry, I didn't pay attention. And so this is what I shared on my last floss tube. I started it up here. So I know that goes on the inside of the needle case. So I wasn't worried. So then I left enough room for that little border. And then I started this one a little bit farther down, but I'm really bad at math. And so I just wing things, and I know that's going to cause me trouble. That's just how I roll. So this is all the stitching that I got done this week. But again, I was working a lot, and I was watching FlossTubers, and you can't always stitch and watch at the same time because I'm looking at what everybody gets, and I pause, and then I go in and order it. But the one thing that I really, really loved was Wendy's choice of the silks, but the only one that I purchased was the Dried Roses silks, and I am going to use that, by golly. Well, you can see I started stitching, and it did not show up. And I thought, oh, I'm going to forge ahead because it was late at night, and that's just what I do. And I thought, oh, don't be silly. I can certainly use these on something else because I love making lots of different things. But I thought, that's not going to fly because I wanted to see the beautiful alphabet. So that's where I was able to go at my Needles and Niceties. I got a big chunk of this 32 count cappuccino. Now in her pattern, it called for 30 count. This is 32, just a little bit smaller. I can roll with that. But you can see, and I can see, that the called for, Thread Gatherer, Silken Colors, Dried Roses will show up. Even that lighter one will show up because I am using what Wendy called for. So Wendy, I'm following directions now. So that's what else I got. So these are, and then also my bow and needles came in, so I'm looking forward. Actually, that was the project where I was using the bow and needles. So that's my story on that. So let's get this stuff out of the way. I'm going to keep moving forward, knowing that so I'm going to stay calm. My other project that I do educational videos for Young Living Essential Oils, and I have a little group. It's just what I do. It's what I love, and it's an incredible, incredible passion that I have. If you have any interest in learning about those oils and want to learn from me in that aspect, I am going to eventually be doing an email address just for that. But right now, I'll stick the email. Look at whatever email that I have in the box below, because it will be changing. And you can shoot me an email on that, and we can talk about that later. But when I do teaching videos, I generally stand, if I do a person-to-person class, or I stay very focused, and I'm talking fast because I have a lot to share. So I'm really working at slowing down and just sharing and not trying to rush through things. So we'll see how that goes. Now, I have my notes, but I'm probably not going to follow them that well because I wanted to share with you also, I found in the midst of all the stuff that I'm learning, I found that I had deleted a Google account where I was subscribed to a lot of your YouTube channels. And I had, Shanda is the one, and Lori, Shanda from Shanda Quilting in Idaho, and Lori from Mischievous Stitches were the ones that really inspired me just to do that. They're my role models. And I had found that I missed Shanda's video from 3 weeks ago, and I just saw it this week, so it was such a treat when I was just too wiped out even to stitch. I just watched hers and it made me happy, and I saw that she had a Blackbird Designs project bag, that she had a Blackbird Designs cross stitch project, and I thought, well, darn it, I can do that too. And now I've learned from Lisa Kindred Stitcher that Blackbird Designs is not designing more fabric, or at least right now. So it made me sad that I don't have a lot of their fabric, but I got a lot of other fabric. But I pulled out some stuff, of course, right away, and I will make a project bag, and I think I might try a different pattern. But I have these Blackbird Designs, and this would be really cool for the main part of a project bag. So that's in the works. Who knows? I have no idea with my schedule. Then I also have these pieces, but again, because I'm a scrappy quilter, the problem is I have a lot of small patterns. But I will be sharing about the quilt that I put these in next week's video, quilting number 4. So if you're a quilter, check that out. Or if you just want to hear me share more stories, check that out next week. Then, since I was looking, I found this, and this must have been from Mom. It looks like a pen and ink illustration, and I thought project bag would be perfect. And then I really want to make needle cases or just little accessories to go with my project bags. So those are coming up. Okay, the last thing before I share my thread organization, because I'll probably get really distracted in that. I was looking on Kitten Stitcher's website, and I just clicked what's new, and I had my cup of coffee, and I was just looking at all the new things, and I saw a pattern. So check it out, Kitten Stitcher. Just type in Pains of Love by Maura Blackburn, and I'll put that in the About section. But I'm just finding my way in what my style is, and I see amazing large reproduction samplers that you ladies are working on. I'm thinking, whoa, I'm not ready for that yet, because I got so many patterns that I bought that are smaller that I need to work through. I saw a sampler, and it really attracted me because it had a border on it that looked kind of craftsman. I loved the elements in there, and then I looked at it and I thought, what does that verse say? This is what I wanted to share and kind of get some conversation going, because I love the comments and the conversation that I get through this, because one of the reasons that I wanted to do this was to connect with other ladies that love the saturation of the hobbies that I do. So ladies, here is something that I wanted you to think on and comment on, and I've got to watch the time. Good, I'm doing good on time. That's why I had to cut out a lot of stuff. So this is where a little bit of the chit chat is going to be right now. But in this sampler, Pains of Love, I saw this saying, and it's this is what it said, but I didn't see who I'll just share it and then I'll tell you as I go, because my brain is not catching up with my tongue. Pains of love be sweeter far than all other pleasures are. So I know as we view things, as we see things, as we experience things, they go through the filter of our life experiences, our worldview, our thoughts at the moment. And so I had my thoughts on what that meant, and I thought, oh, I love that, because I'll share with you what I thought, what it meant to me at the time. And that's where I would love you ladies, pause me right now, comment, because I'm going to share with you a little bit more about this quote. But I would love for you to give just a fresh, raw comment on what that means to you. Then you can always come back and edit or add on after I share the poem that it was from, the new thoughts that you might have. So all I did was I just Googled that saying, and it came up to several different websites, and I'll link the website. Oh, I know. I will link the website that I got it from, but on one of them, and I can't remember what that was, It was one of those quotes website. I saw a couple other quotes by this author. The author is John Dryden. And I just saw two of his quotes and I thought, I love those. One is love is love's reward. And I really feel that strongly. In my job that I do as a mobile notary, I drive around the world, and on California freeways, it is a miracle I am still alive. That's God's grace. And then I sit with people in their homes or now out in the backyards, which I love, unless it's blazing hot. And I have conversations with them at their table for like the hour that it takes, or longer or shorter, to do a loan document package. That's just my role. I'm the mobile notary certified signing agent that does that. So I have a lot of conversations with people and get to know them and just share a little bit of different things. So what I have learned, sometimes I will go, I'm a sissy at heart. And I am very, I guess because of this job, I am not as, I've developed, my friend that trained me in this being a notary is very different than me. I'm a sissy, she is tough. And she said, you're going to have to get some thick skin in doing this job, or you're going to have way too much trouble. So I have developed a thicker skin in a lot of ways, but that's why I cherish being at home, because I'm me when I am home, and I'm a marshmallow. So I have found, though, when I go into a situation, and I've had, you know, it's funny because I'll go, I'm incredibly conservative, a sissy gardener, traditional girl, yet I will go into homes that are different than mine. And there will be people that are, have the persona, have the look of they're tough. And they have, you know, the tats, the shaved head, the persona that goes with their character. Whether that's really them or not, I don't know. I'm with them for an hour. I have a job to do. And my thing is, if we got to do something, let's make it fun. And so it is really neat that I get to experience a lot of different personalities than my own when I'm doing my job. And that's why this week was really amazing, because I had some people that were more rough around the edges. And as a sissy, tired girl, I had to not cry and put my shoulders back and act my confidence and do the job without messing up. Then I had some other people. I sat down at the table, and one place I was there for 3 hours because I didn't have another signing to go to, and we had so much in common. It was so cool. Then last night was another time. I think I was there for an extra hour because the lady was a cross stitcher too, and a quilter, and we were just so lined up with our worldview. We just talked and talked and talked, and that was fun. So I have all different types of things, but I have found when I go into a situation, if I feel like I'm going to get opposition and I have a job to do, you know, I just square my shoulders and I think, they don't know I'm a sissy. So I just like, this is what I need to have so that I can notarize you and do my job. And I square my shoulders and I act like I'm really confident. Where inside I just want to go home and cry. Other times I go in and I've got people who maybe are not as friendly. And again, I just want to have fun. I want to have a good time, but I am professional in my job as well. But it's like, you know, let's just make this as easy and as enjoyable a process as signing a gazillion pages can be. So that is my thing. I feel like if you are friendly, you will make friends. I feel that if you show love, you will receive love. And that's what this year is all about for me. And that's what these floss tubes, that was one of my main whys. I want to bring something to this hurting, scared world. And that's why I'm doing these. And that's why I share my heart. And that's why these videos are the way they are. And a lot of you ladies, I'm sorry I've made you cry. But again, we're sharing a heart. The other saying, especially thinking about things that are going right now and things that will be happening in the future, the conscience of a people is their power. The conscience of a people is their power. I love that. So those were some of the quotes that I saw. Now, then I also found the poem, because I thought, where did that saying, it's been so long since I started it, but this was the little piece that was on the sampler. Pains of love be sweeter far than all other pleasures are. I thought, where did that come from? And I was just assuming Shakespeare. But it was a poem, and John Dryden lived from 1631 to 1700. And I'll link where I found this because it was a neat website. It had the whole poem. I really want to read the poem to you because now I want you to know where the quote came from and what the thought I think is behind it. And again, I am not good at reading poetry. I love reading out loud. I did that with my kids and with the neighbor kids for years. I don't read poetry well, and I don't understand it very well. And I love the Waltons. I love old series, and so I will binge watch. We have DVDs, and they're worn out because I love watching the Waltons, and the character John Boy is a poet. And I love everything about the Waltons, and I know a lot about them. But what I want to share with is when he reads poetry on the Waltons, on that wonderful show, you can tell the passion that is behind it because he is an amazing actor. Richard Thomas, that's who it is, Richard Thomas. Amazing actor. And I loved his character of John Boy. And it was so sad when he went to move on back to Broadway, back to what his real love was. But when he read poetry, I connected. So I would love to have John Boy's voice or Richard Thomas's voice as I read this, but I really wanted to read it to you. So bear with me as I read it. This is from Titanic Love, Act 4, Section 1. So I guess it was a play. Oh, how sweet it is to love. Oh, how gay is young desire. And what pleasing pains we prove when we first approach love's fire. Pains of love be sweeter far than all other pleasures are. So that's where I thought, aha. I was thinking it was about love lost. And of course, I'm thinking of my mom. And I loved all the motifs in there because I was thinking it would be a neat tribute to do for my mom. I think it's about young love. Tell me what you think. This is the rest of it. Sighs which are from lovers blown do not gently heave the heart. E'en the tears they shed alone cure like trickling balm their smart. I'm not going to cry, but darn it, I'm tired and it's drawing my emotion. Lovers, when they lose their breath, bleed away in easy death. I'm thinking of my dad who's lost my mom. Love and time with reverence use. I need some Kleenex. I don't have it with me. Love and time with reverence use. Treat them like a parting friend. Nor the golden gifts refuse, which in youth sincere they send. For each year their price is more, and they less simple than before. Love like spring tides full and high, swells in every youthful vein. Oh my word. I cannot do this over again because I have somewhere to go. Till they quite shrink in again, if a flow in age appear, 'tis but rain and rain's not clear. So I'd love to know your thoughts. I'm not going to share any more thoughts because I'll be bawling and I put my makeup on and I got a party to go to. So that's the story on that. Share your comments if you'd like. And next time I'm going to make sure I have Kleenex with me. I see also now below me in my pile, I was going to share with you a picture of something that a friend of mine took this picture, and it reminds me of a lot of different things, but she took it in 2020, and I know the year she took it in because, oh my word, this is just how this is going to be. So she took it right at the time that I had an amazing garden tour in my garden. I had an amazing garden. My husband helped me huge in my garden. And he prepared so many things for me, and I would garden, and I was outside with the kids all the time and the neighbor kids, and I loved it. My goal at that time was to be in a garden magazine and to be on big garden tours. And I think if I kept moving forward, I could have reached that goal. But at that time, my husband and I hit a speed bump in our marriage. We've now been married 37 years. We've been together. I started dating him when I was 15. Through God's grace alone. That's why I share my faith in these. So again, this is me. This is the real me. I share my faith because at that time I had a nervous breakdown. And I was extremely depressed. And at that point I was suicidal also. So through God's grace, I'm here. Oh, bear with me, but I can't redo this video. I got to keep forging on. through God's grace, my husband and I are still married, and I can live valiantly right now because of that. So at that time, this was what my garden looked like. Gorgeous. And I value that my friend took that picture for me. She blew it up for me and gave it to me because she knew the desperate straits that I was in at the time. But isn't that gorgeous? Doesn't look anything like that now, but that was called my throne. And as my kids were playing in the garden, that was a view down my whole side of the garden, side of the house, and over to where my kids played in the backyard. And I had an amazing garden. And sometime I will just simply do a slideshow of the pictures of the garden that I had at that time, when I can find that that album. So it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and I love it. My garden is beautiful now. It's different. And part of what my garden is, there are actually burnt trees because they were around the cabin during the fire that we had that devastated our whole area. But beauty from ashes is a verse in the Bible, and that's what my garden is kind of now, beauty from ashes. But anyway, let's get on to what we were going to talk about, which is thread organization. So, have I looked at everything? Yeah, I did. And excuse me for a moment. Okay, when I know how to edit, I'll edit that out, but don't have time for all that right now. So let's just make sure we got a clean nose and we are good to go. Thank you, ladies. Here I go back again. Okay, again, maybe I will learn how to edit, or maybe not. There you go. It's the real me. So again, I really want to do these videos as if you're in my sewing room. So ready or not, here I came. Okay, so I have covered everything that I wanted to cover. So now I'm going to show you my organization. Then I'm going to show you what I will show you on future videos, because they're all laid out here because I was going to share them with you. So when I was doing embroidery and cross stitch, it was back in the last century. It was in, I started cross stitching probably the end of 1970 when I was a teen, and I cross stitched and embroidered all the way through to about 2006 when I really got into quilting. So this was what was big at the time, and my mom and my sister had it, so of course I had to follow along, and I did this too. I am going to show you my whole tote, because this is what I have found really works for me, because I like to travel with all my stuff. So a friend of mine is a 31 tote, I think that is what it's called, 31 products. It's a small business. I will link her below. I haven't even told her, but I love small business. So she would be able to answer questions about this tote. This was one I got a couple months ago. It is the small utility tote from 31. It has a cool pocket. So, and also when I have this up in the mountains, I set it down next to me on my chair, and it's decomposed granite. So this is great. I've not washed it. So that's why I need something not real frou-frou-y. I'm not a frou-frou person, but not just regular fabric. So this is a fabric that is really sturdy. I will usually pop my cell phone in here, have it next to me. Then, this is why I love this, because I have all my stuff in there. That is all my flosses. And I can tell you, I got a lot of floss. So let me unpack this for you, and I will share it with you. And then when I finally get to upload this video, I will try to share all the links with you in that. So the whole organization is this. And it's probably not new to some of you, but right now I see everybody doing thread drops and rings, and it's cool. It's beautiful, and you can really see the colors, and I know there's a lot of benefit to it. This fits my life because I want to have all my threads together. If I'm going to do a project, right now I don't want all my threads separated. I want them all here because who knows what project I'm going to be working on. So this is jammed full right now, and I'm going to need to be changing because I have more threads on order and more to put in. But you can see I have the Gentle Art, Sweet Pea. I can see as I flip through, let's see how I can do this backwards. As I flip through, I've got things color coordinated. So when I was doing embroidery, I never followed, I don't even know if they did, because I never followed what would be what FlossTubers called for colors. When I did embroidery, I did what I wanted to. So that's why now, as I'm doing, I want all the called for colors. That is very different, and I never thought I would do that. But this really worked for me because I had all the called for, or I'm sorry, I had all the threads in a way that I can just go color by color by color and go through those. And you can see how many I have, but they are jammed in there. What are these? Besides very full and very wonderful for me, these are, let's see, here's my project bag from last week. I found the perfect use for it. So these are flosses that I got that I need to put in my little bags. Remember, this is from 20 years ago, and you can get these now on eBay, but there are newer ones. So this was Bagot. So if you just search Expandable Floss Organizing System, Hobby Lobby has, I think it's called Yarnology. Michael's, I saw something there. Joann's, I saw something there. It is simply a 3.5 by 5 Ziploc bag with 2 ring holes. So I'll take one out and show you. So you can see, you can write, and I always have to make sure that I'm actually, see, this one is backwards. That, because this has a little bit of a matte finish, so you want to write on the side that that label is there. And you can see there are 2 holes there. And thus, I have a 2.5-inch ring in here. Now, because I bet you saw, that is not the only one I have. I also have another one in here, and this is my DMC. Now, for a while, I looked down on DMC when I discovered the overdyed. I thought, DMC, that's from the past. You know, I want the good stuff. I'm very, very grateful that I did not get rid of these. And I have them. And now, as I'm stitching, my first project that I did was with a kit, and it had DMC, and I thought, wow, high quality, beautiful sheen. There's something stuck in the middle here. Beautiful sheen. Oh, I know what's happening. As the Ziploc, as the bottom of the Ziploc ages, and again, these are, I put these together 20 years ago. The bottom of the Ziploc ages, cracks, and boom, out comes something. So that's kind of a trick on figuring that out, because you just have to handle these carefully. So these are all my DMCs. And again, I color code them. So that's my floss organization. So now I was thinking, okay, great. I really need to take some out of here. And what am I going to do with all my new colors that are coming in when I love that tote and it fits too perfectly? So what I'm going to do, because I am preferring the overdyes, I will have 2 rings, because I can probably make them a little less tight and have 2 next to each other in my tote. Then I will have these in another place, and I'll show that to you in a minute, that I can have my DMC, but it'll stay here in my sewing room rather than traveling all over the world with me. Like, I can go around the world, but that's what I'm going to do. That's why I like this. Will I always keep this, and will I not go to thread drops? I have no idea, but right now I have this and I like it. And fortunately, I have 2 giant bags of these from back in the old days. So I can still do this. And then what I do now is I just use that fine point Sharpie, and I put all the information on there, onto that. So that's my organization. And if you, oh, I forgot to tell you guys, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm new to everything. I am new to this YouTube channel. I'm new to everything. Don't even know how to edit. And I have a bunch of stuff that I want to do for giveaways, a bunch of older patterns that I've got. I haven't even figured out how to use that random, excuse me, that random comment picker. I've been busy with work, so that's my excuse. Okay, so what else do I have in here? I have a mat case. And right now, this is the perfect size because it fits right next to those 2 things. For my stuff, I've got my 1 wooden embroidery hoop that's working. I've got a plastic box with all my treats in it, and my embroidery and my embroidery needles and just my different accessories. And then this is what I know that I want now. I want to be able to chart down with the charts. I want to be able, with my linen, to count straight down. And I have this as a quilting ruler, and it's great for a quilting ruler, but I want to try to get another one. I have no idea. I probably got this from my mom. I want to be able to get another one to be able to have with my cross-stitching stuff. Okay, so this is Mac case. When I got this, I got my iPad case. I got my iPad that I'm filming on right now, videoing on. I got it almost 6 years ago. 5 years ago? 5 years ago. And so I got the mat case at the time. And it was pricey then, and of course everything has gone up right now. But this is what my my mat case because it's real leather, and it has the oil from my hands, and I keep my hands moisturized. And so it has got that patina, and you can see the light spot right there. This is what it used to look like. And obviously I have not found a really great use to that until now, because it fits perfect in my tote, and I love the feel of leather. So now this will be getting more use. But I'll put a link down to mat case. These folios, these iPad folios are about $170 to $180 right now. They were over $100 when I got them, but it really, really works great because I can prop it, and then actually when I listen to videos, it bumps the sound out, so it magnifies the sound. So this is how I watch all you ladies. You're right here next to me on my stitchy, and then whoop, your voice comes out through there. I love this this mat folio, so I just thought I would share that with you. They've got a lot of other stuff on that site too. Then I can fit my project bags, and that's why I do want to have a certain size, so I can get that in there. What else do I have? So in my FlossTube 3, I shared my perfect setup, and this is my chart holder and magnet. So that's in there, and then I have 2 of these 31 totes. These are cool because they're vinyl. And again, see, this is 31, so really high quality. And my friend is the rep for one, so I'll put her link below. I should warn her before I do that. I have a bunch of totes that go with this. This was a newer one, but I wanted this matching one. And what's really great about it is because my leather folio is not waterproof for my iPad, and sometimes I will stick drinks in my bag. I put my iPad in here with my stitchy notebooks. So I feel that it keeps my iPad safe. So that is my organization, and I am all about, let's see, I was going to say I'm all about organization. I'm all about organizational things that you can buy in totes and plastic boxes and places to put them. They don't always go in their place, but I love the organization. So now as I repack it, I will get everything back in there perfectly lined up. So there is my floss organization. What else did I want to share with you? I'm going to share with you what I didn't share with you that I will share with you on my next FlossTube. So look for FlossTube 5, which may not be for 2 weeks because I have a lot of things that I have left off. Like I said, usually I do Young Living Essential Oil education for my team. I'm a rep for that company too, because they radically changed my life. That's part of my healing that I've done in my natural health, and why I can go out in the public right now without the fear. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get sick, but I don't have to be, I don't choose to be afraid, because I support my immune system and do everything I can to keep myself healthy and well, yet I've got to get out there and work, because if I don't work, I don't get paid, and I can't buy these fun things. So this is what I was going to share with you, which I will share with you next time. Again, these are older patterns. This is a cherished one. I keep this up probably half of the year. This was from a conglomerate of different patterns, but they were from Bare Roots. This one is actually still for sale. So was it Bare Roots? Yeah, I'm looking at the pattern right now. Bare Roots Little Stitchies. I saw that this one is actually still for sale. The other one is not, but I did when I got into embroidery in it was about 2003, 2004. Bare Roots and Crabapple Hill Studios was primarily what I got. But I'm going to share with you all about the wonders of that project that I love, even though it's not Valentine's Day. Then I'm going to show you, this is the quilt that I'm going to share in my Quilting 5 video. That will be, I have these pictures on Instagram. I took a bunch of quick shots. So did I tell you who I am on Instagram? Bonnie, Log Cabin Stitcher. But you can also, I'll put that in the about notes. And then, let's see, I think you can see the whole thing if I move out of the way. These are the other parts. So I did change a lot, or let's just say I accentuated. I added on to the quilt, and of course there's a story behind it, and of course it involves my mom and my sister and the Black Canyon Quilt Show in Colorado, the only big quilt show that I've ever been a part of. I love being in my local my local quilt guild. I was not in their last quilt show because That was at the time I needed to go back and see my dad after a health issue. But if they have one again in the future, if we have a future, we will. We have a future and hope in Christ. I will enter another quilt show, but it hasn't been on my life. I was going to say life expectancy. It hasn't been in my life lately. So this one I shared in my quilting number 3 video. I shared about my mom's quilt. Amazing quilt. She won a prize in the Black Canyon Quilt Show. And I had one of the commenters, and I'm not going to do names because I'm really bad at names at the moment. She was asking about this pattern. Now, my sister had this pattern, and she got it out and looked at it because my sister made this also. And she gave me the contact information, but that pattern was put out in 1999. But there was a phone number on there. So I called and left a message on that phone number. But again, that was 20 years ago. I have not gotten a return call back. There was an address. I'm going to write to that address and see, is that designer still alive? Is that designer still at that address? I don't know. I don't know how to find these old ones. But I will share with you some tricks on ideas that if you can't get this pattern, what you can do. Then I will also be sharing about this quilt with the hand quilting in there and what it means to me and why I named it what I did. And then because we have fires going on close enough to the mountains that I didn't want to leave my quilts up there. This is my usual summertime mountain cabin quilt, log cabin, again, log cabin stitcher, and all the Kansas Troubles fabrics that I put in. So you can see I'm a hand stitcher. I love this part the best. I love the border, I love the fabric, and I love the stitching in there. So I'll be sharing more about that and the story behind it. And then I will also be sharing, my mom was a nationally known bear maker after actually during the time she was a quilter. This came down. He didn't want to stay up in the mountains where the fires could be coming. So he's down here for now. This is usually at home. I'm going to share about that. Wool applique. This is usually up at the cabin, and I'm going to share about that. Those two things were from the same book. So those are the things that I will share in. So again, if you subscribe, you will, my quilting video, when I get it up, will just come up and you can just join in on the fun there. I had a couple other things that I was going to show you, but of course we'll just do that next time. There's a stool that I'm going to be recovering and making and having, it's an old box. Let's just show you right now since I said something. And I've been almost tripping over it the whole time. Okay, I love old wood boxes. I used to be a wood vendor, and I was a designer and wood maker. I didn't make wood, I made things out of wood. And was in a lot of shows, and so you had to have a display thing. So because I was primitive in my design as a woodworker, I had all these old primitive things, and it looked like an old wood storefront. It was really cool. But now I'm trying to figure out what to do with all these wood boxes. So I make stools out of them. So that's what this is going to be. It's an old wood box below, and this is what I'm going to do. I need my husband's help because I need like 4 hands to be able to cover the top of the stool. And then I will have all the cross stitch stuff that I have in right now, as far as the project bags, as far as the patterns, and as far as my fabric, I will store it in there. And then, yeah, I'm just going to show you right now because otherwise I need to get stuff put away. These are the scraps that I have from that and from a chair that I had redone. And I thought, oh, I'm sure I can find something to do with that with cross stitch. You can see up in that top corner, I have old wood baskets. Those are treasured baskets. I've probably had those, maybe 30 years, maybe 35 years, I don't know. When I was a newlywed, I think I was the first grandchild to get married on my mom's side of the family. And so I got to go up with my grandma and my mom up into their attic, my grandparents' attic. And I've always loved old things. So I got to choose some old baskets. This one was at the cabin. So again, I brought it home, but you can see it's old. It has a lining, but it is not, see up there, you can see that one is shinier because I put I put oil and wax on it, and it really helps preserve the wood. This one is dried out, and I will be doing some oil on that. But look at this one, an old picnic basket. I lined it, and it has my like project bag. Oh, this is also some thread organization. These are threads that I don't use as much. Again, another 3-in-1 bag. And then my zippers, and now my interfacings that I will be using. I must be getting a delivery. Interfacings that I will be using for my project bag. So this usually goes up right here in that spot. So that's why I had to share it with you, so I can get it off the floor and not trip over it. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for commenting and just sharing the love of this FlossTube community. I love the beauty of it. I love I wanted to say the simplicity of it, but that's what it reminds me of. Simple pleasures, joys, friendships, connections. I have people in other parts of the world that are watching me in my sewing room, and I'm floored by that. But like I said, I got to really be ready, because the love and the stories and the connection that people are making with me here in my sewing room, with my stories and my tears. I'm sorry about the tears, but that's life. That's what life really is. I love it. So thank you. And I want to encourage you, as always, to choose joy nevertheless. Life is hard right now. I believe it's going to get harder. And choose joy nevertheless, and find that joy and share that love and friendship with others. And then now, this is something that I've been, I just chose to do, and ladies have been thanking me for this. So I'm going to share a special Bible verse with you this week, something that came up yesterday as I was talking with a friend, and something that she shared with me about an insight that she had about things in the future that will affect all of our safety. Of course, I went to fear and panic, and then I still had work to do, and I had slept very little. And I thought, no, not going there anymore, not going there, because I have things to do and I need to live valiantly. So during a time, we've had speed bumps in our life. After the time my husband and I got back in a strong marriage, there was a financial thing that came up, and it was very, very tough. And I really had to get grounded in God's Word. And so I memorized. I'm not going to try to do it from memory right now, because I'm filming. So this is my crunchy notebook that I keep in the bathroom. And I'm going to read it to you. But in my head, as I was driving, these verses were going through my head, and I thought, yes, I can rest in a God that never changes, in a God that is consistent, and in a God that doesn't run on emotions, and in a God that knows me, yet He loves me, and I am His child. So this is Lamentations 3:22 through 26. I don't want to cry, but these verses sustained me during a very hard time. Through the Lord's mercies we are not consumed, because His compassions fail not. This is how I say it in my head as I'm driving and doing life. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I hope in Him. See, this is even a trick that I learned. Shoulders back, stand up, head forward, do life. The Lord is good to those who wait for Him, to the soul who seeks Him. It is good that one should hope and wait quietly. That's probably the hardest part. I don't wait quietly, but I'm learning to. I've learned a whole new way of doing life from the time of that speed bump in our marriage at the end of 1999 and 2020. I decided that if I could put into my marriage something that would make it work, it would be not doing the same crazy thing that I did that was part of getting us into our mess. We both had a part in it, and that's, you know what, my dad told me that at the time, and I thought, not me, he is the jerk. My husband's the jerk, not me. Well, 50-50. 50% him, 50% me. So I thought, I don't have control over him. There's a lot of things I learned during that time in groups that I was involved in, that really helped me look at myself and see I had control over me. And actually that was incredibly empowering. And because I like control. I like having something I can control. That's why I stitch and that's why I garden. I realized I had control over me, and instead of being the bossy, headstrong, opinionated woman, angry woman that I was, I could choose to work towards the Proverbs 31 woman. I have that also memorized, or I did. I need to redo it. But the big passage about the Proverbs 31 woman, she is a rock star. And she's the kind of woman that I want to be, and she's the kind of mom that I worked on being, and the kind of wife that I worked on being. I decided I needed to be a role model for my sons, that I needed to be the wife that they would someday look to decide, is that the kind of wife that they want to choose. I also wanted to be the wife that I wanted to be, so this doesn't sound weird, I wanted to be the personality, or not the personality, we're also different personality. I wanted to have the attitude as a wife to my husband that I would hope that my daughter-in-laws would have that type of an attitude towards my sons, because a mom loves her sons. And that's where I thought, am I being that to my husband? No, indeed, I was not. So it has been a work in progress. So that was 20 years, work in progress. And I will be until the day I die. But there you go. That is a lot of my heart. That is a lot of who I am. And I am running late to where, to what I need to be doing now. So I'm going to sign off, and I will upload this when I can and put all the notes in that I can. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching, especially those of you to watch all the way to the end. Bye.